Hey, so
a
Floyd,
bunch of stuff from him, man.
Floyd. So tell me, how'd you get started with this, how long ago you been doing Floyd Vick Chassis? How long you been doing it?
And actually, when I retired, I was working on, because up until then I was running John Foster cars, and whenever he But what I did when I actually retired, up until then I had been running John Foster cars, and John Foster was quarter motor, if you don't know him. And when he retired, because some of the engineering and stuff that came in these cars was a collaboration between him and I, because I was a sponsored driver for him, and I started taking his cars and setting records and stuff with them. So when he got sick and then he moved out there with his daughter, him and I sat down and talked about it, and he told me that he gave me permission to go ahead and build the cars.
Around what year?
That was around 2011, somewhere along there.
So that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, and so what happened, most of the time when John built a car, every one of them were different. And so when I took over, I actually took everything and took it to a shop and had everything done, had all the drawings made and everything on the CNC. So now, the parts you get now are all done on the CNC machine.
So everything will fit exactly how the last one was on there. So if anything's broke or whatever, order a new part, get it sent out to you, and then you know it's going to fit right back up.
That's right. And that's what I did, because I didn't like the fact that a lot of times when people bought something from John, they had to send the car back to him
to get it fit.
To get it fixed, because if he built another part, it may be a little bit off or something, or it wouldn't fit. So that was a change that I made.
I got you. So now, do all your parts for your cars made in America? Is everything made in America?
Everything is made in America. All the mechanical parts, like all my front ends and everything, all the clutch bells, all the axles, everything is made in the USA. And there's a couple parts like a gas tank. Those are interchangeable. Those you can buy anywhere.
Yep.
But other than that, everything else is made here. I mean, because actually there's a machine shop right here in Youngsville that makes most of the parts. The carbon fiber parts, I got a friend in Michigan that makes all of those, cut all that stuff out for me. I got a guy in, I got multiple vendors that help support the Vick Chassis.
The Vick Chassis.
He's just one vendor,
All right, so all your carbon fiber parts come from the one spot in Michigan? So like your front bumper, your wheelie bars, your chassis, the main chassis, all that comes from the Michigan spot. Yeah. All your rails, like if you look at it, you got your rails and everything, and the front end.
Myself. I make the rails because different cars they're different lengths, and then the front end, all of that's made by a machine shop here in Youngsville.
And then you assemble it.
I assemble everything because I just buy pieces. I might buy 50 or 100 pieces of whatever.
Gotcha.
And he makes all the clutch carriers. He makes all of the clutch bells.
Gotcha.
He makes all of that.
And he does also the aluminum rear chassis also.
Yeah, the uprights and everything.
And uprights.
And aluminum. And aluminum chassis.
So all these parts over here.
Yeah.
That's all local. Yep. North Carolina, baby. All right. Now, also a lot of people ask about the hardware for this thing. It's all SAE, all standard hardware for this, right? Other than the engine
mount. The engine mount, because that is you have to end up, that's 5mm.
Okay.
But everything else. Everything else is standard.
Yep, everything else standard. All these parts on here, all these screws in here. So if you get one of these, make sure you get some standard hexes.
I think you found that out.
I definitely found that out. But like I said, a lot of people, they buy one of these and they don't realize that, like I said, made in America are all standard. It's all standard. So that is awesome. And so basically, Floyd Vick Chassis was established in 2011. About
that's when I went into production, because before that it was one off of this and one off of that, but now everything is actually a kind of a production now, because before it was we would do one off this and one off that, but when I took everything to a machine shop and got everything drawn up, now all of a sudden you've got a chassis that that I'm proud of, because it makes it to a place where if you call me and you say, Floyd, I need this, I can send it to you and I know it's going to work.
Gotcha.
And you don't have to make any modifications to it or anything like that. And you know, it's been a partnership. It's been a partnership with Bartolone, been a partnership with VRC, a bunch of vendors, and you know, we came together and all of us help each other. You know, that's what it takes.
Definitely. So, can you walk the guys through? Now, I've got a lot of people asking, like, how do I get in touch with you? How do I go about buying one of these? How do I do about ordering one? I know first they got to know what they want.
Yep.
You know, whether they want a body car or if they want a dragster or a big block dragster. But if somebody emails you, and like I said, I'll put your email right about here, and then. But if they email you, like I said, yeah, that's usually how I give you information out. I say, look, email Floyd, and he'll get back in touch with you.
Well, the reason that I do that is because these cars are not cookie cutters, and the reason I say they're not cookie cutters because depending on how you're going to use the car, I use different railing, I use different parts altogether because I build the car to whatever you're going to race.
To their
if you're going
spec.
to race a big block, yes. If you notice, you look at these rails, you see how thin this is. This is a little half-inch rail, but look at the ones over there; they're inch, and that's because you know all of a sudden you're running a big block, and you got to have because you don't want the chassis to flexible so much. So what I found is over the years, okay, this here's enough for up to a 34. When you go over a 34, then you got to change what you're doing. Because if you don't, then what happens is you're gonna have a car. You put this rail on it. Next thing you know, you're dragging the ground. You know, so this way the car don't overflex. But you want some flex in every one of them because if it don't flex, then what happens is you end up wheel hopping. And there's some manufacturers make cars, and that's the reason they wheel hop because they don't have any flex.
Any flex.
Too rigid. Even though this is 6.5 millimeter carbon fiber, it still flexes.
6.5 millimeter.
Yeah.
And y'all have heard me say that on the channel many times. So, like I said, walk them through. So, if somebody emails you and says, "Look, I want a Floyd Vick car," right? Like,
they email me, and then most of the time I'll send them my phone number.
Okay.
And then after that, we sit down and I collaborate with them, and I want to understand how they're going to use the car because that also determines what kind of wheels I put on. If they're going to race out in the street, okay, I need to put street wheels on. If they're going to race, with racing where they are going to be raced on a prepared track, then I use these tires over here. I mean, you see, I think the other day I had about almost 20 pair done, and that's what that is. And you also see some from a truck too.
Yeah.
Good thing you can find those on Marketplace. But it all works out in the end because I want to give somebody something that they can be proud of and that I can be proud of. That they don't go out and say, well, you don't buy nothing for him because all he's doing is trying to sell your car. I've sold your car to meet your needs, and that's what I try to do.
Gotcha. So people do call or email you and say, I want something just for if I'm going to a parking lot and just play around with it in the parking lot. I just want something for that. Mm-hmm. So it's not, it is competition level. This is definitely competition level. As you can see, everybody from Baltimore now has one of these joints, and they've been going out like crazy. I've seen it all on Facebook. But, so you can get them for whatever practice of what you want plan on doing, whatever. Like I said, big block. If you want to build an extreme like that with a big 50cc on there, or if you want to build something like this, what's that black? 32. So we got 32s. I run a 30.5 on my body car, and like I said, it's just. And okay, now another thing, people say this is a simple design. I hear that all the time. Yeah. I hear that all the time. This is a simple design.
It looks simple.
It looks simple.
They say it looks simple. You know what I'm saying? That's all they say. It's a simple design. Yeah. And I hear that all the time. But I could take this car out and I can put down numbers straight out the box. Straight out the box. You can call it simple. You can call it complex. The engineering that went into here is insane. 6 millimeter here. You know what I mean? Just... They say this, it's an awesome car. I ain't gonna lie. This is a beautiful car. And this was a body car, right? So okay, there's the Chevy right there. But I appreciate the time, Floyd, for telling us about it. And
it does require some maintenance, and which I've went through today with y'all showing you the little things that you have to check on the car because that makes a world of difference. Because you can take this car and make it slow it down. You got to make sure that you keep everything a little bit loose and adjust it, and also clean your bearings and stuff like that, which is the things I showed you today.
Yeah, that's with any car. I mean, maintenance is top key, and a lot of people figure we get these on-road cars, you don't need that much maintenance, but there's so much rubber and prep and foam that gets all into these little small crevices and stuff. And like I said, we're out here chasing a tenth of a second. You know, we want the fastest things possible. So you definitely takes the maintenance of this thing. And shoot, he got that thing spinning nice now too, bro.
Huh? Well, and that's all it takes. It's just a little time, and you know, when you do that, you'll see the results at the track. You know, maybe the only thing, it may be 500 or 600, but that means a lot.
Yeah.
When you drag racing, you know, and when you're chasing records and stuff, that means a lot. And that's all. And like I tell you, anybody that's got a Floyd Vick Chassis, you call me, and wherever you're at, because I had a guy in California call me one day, and he was talking to me on the phone, and he told me what he was running. Okay, so he was actually tuning the car, and I was telling him which way to tune it and everything over the phone.
Over the phone.
And so when we got to finally realize where we needed to be, his first time out with the car, he ran a 217 at 60 miles an hour. First time out with the car.
And that's I mean, that speaks for itself right there. Like I said, if the fact that you could call the person that makes the chassis and say, "Hey, I need help," and then you can actually talk to somebody, the man who came up with the chassis and everything, and he could walk you through issues or anything like that. And that's anybody. Anybody. I mean, he could do the same thing for you, and he's gonna turn around and line up with you at the line tomorrow. You know what I mean? So definitely, you know what I mean? You can't.
One thing I found is if I help you, because everybody at first they were saying, well, Floyd's the only one who can run good with the chassis. It's not the case. All it takes is just a couple of conversations, and I don't mind having those conversations with anybody, because that competitive spirit in me is gonna make me okay. If you step up, I'm gonna step up. We're gonna step up together.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it's about.
Yes, sir.
Just like today, I spent most of the day helping y'all. I mean, but that's what it's about, just showing you how to do this stuff, and that makes the world of difference.
Yep. And it is totally different running these cars than a Primal. Totally different. I don't care who you are. I've had both of them, and it's totally different. Not to say the one's better than the other, but it is totally different driving styles needed for both cars. Totally different.
And the big thing that makes this car a little bit more versatile is the fact that in the back you can go from a 56.2 to a 96.2.
That's the rear spur.
On this rear sprocket.
The rear sprocket back there.
You can go from a 56 to a 96. And then on the front, you can go from a 9.2 all the way up to a 42. So you can get anywhere in between, any gear ratio you want. And
then the final.
And it don't cost a lot of money.
And then the final drive would be your tire size.
Yeah. And it don't cost a lot of money, because, you know, most of these I sell them, you know, around $15 a piece, and these are $40 for the rear sprockets, but these are custom ones, the one that I've got, and that's what it is, you know. So, but the other ones you can buy from Dave's. I mean, they sell them, I think, about $37, $38 just for a rear sprocket, you know.
Yep.
So, but that's what it takes, you know. And so a lot of stuff is proprietary. It's not a lot that's proprietary on my car. I try to keep them that way, so if something happens, you can call Dave's and get a lot of these parts. I mean, and that's where I try. You know, there's certain things that you can't get from Dave's, but most of the stuff from Dave's you can get. And, you know, a lot of the stuff, motors, you know, chain if you want, sprocket, you can get it from there.
Now, it may not be lightweight and all that stuff, but you can definitely be running with it. You know what I mean? If you're in a pinch or something like that, definitely. But I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I just wanted to make a little quick video.
Okay.
Just to, you know what I mean, so that people could see a little bit the insights of the Floyd Vick. You know what I mean? I know everybody loves, like I said, when I drop the videos all the time, I mean, they love you. They love to watch the cars go down the road. And, I mean, every time I drop a video, it goes, like, through the roof. I mean, just straight through the roof. I appreciate everything, like I said, you've done for me and my cars. And I just had a good time with the joint. I just enjoy them. And it's always... they get me winning, so you know what I mean. I appreciate it,
because if whoever got my car, if they out racing and they win, I win. It doesn't matter to me.
Yep. All right, man. So we're gonna end this like this. Go ahead and give your slogan, and then we can go on from there.
Okay.
I gotta say this for my best friend: own one or get owned by one.